I think it's him.
Hi guys, so I'm actually on my way to get my hair done. I actually have short hair, so I'm here to see my barber, who is also an informal occupier of space. So I'd like to ask him a few questions. And interestingly enough, there's actually an EMPD vehicle there, so it would be interesting to hear from someone who actually enforces street bylaws, what their take is on such spaces, or is he just a customer here to do his hair on a Sunday morning? Let's go. I had an interesting conversation with my barber, who asked to withhold his identity and voice despite consenting to the video being recorded. For the sake of this podcast, his name is Patrao. Patrao is a Mozambican national who came to South Africa over 15 years ago for employment reasons and economic prosperity. After a few months of living in a back room in our neighborhood of Dawn Park, which is west of Boksburg, he started his informal hair shop where he provides grooming services for both women and men, including haircuts and beard shaving. His store is located at the neighborhood's busiest traffic light, which intersects two busy arterials, namely Roundabout Road and West Central Road. He says he took advantage of the open space because it exposed him to a lot of car and foot traffic, where he has the potential of attracting a lot of customers. He says the business has grown tremendously over the past 5 years, as he now employs two other people and has increased his equipment. Patrao also lamented about the challenges he experienced, including COVID-19 and Metro Police, who confiscates his equipment because he is not authorized to use the space. After several confiscations, he decided to go to the police station, where he got a letter to use the space that he now uses that letter to protect his business
Good
from law
evening. Good
enforcers.
evening. You're
He
speaking to
complained about the
Officer
brutal force that the law
Zeko from the
enforcers used
EMPD
when
Police
confiscating
Department.
his equipment, and he says they
I'll
would just
be
say,
speaking to
"We are
you
implementing
about
the bylaws,"
three
instead of
main
explaining
questions
what
which were brought to
exactly
my
and which
attention regarding
provisions of
street
the bylaws
vendors
he is
and how they
contravening.
operate and
He
what is
feels
the
their
law
inhumane
entailing
treatment
that
could have been
aspect.
heightened by
Okay,
his
on the
immigrant status.
first
I asked him
part,
what kind of
which
assistance
is
he would
please
appreciate from
explain
government or local
street
authorities,
trading bylaws
or
to
even
anyone who
just
doesn't
decision
understand.
makers, and the first thing he
Street
said was
trading.
money, and further explained that if he had money, he would build a solid structure that will replace the tent he's currently using, so that his operations are not disturbed by natural elements like rain and wind, which often discourage customers. He also added that a solid and stable business would enable him to recruit more boys from Elokshin, which is the surrounding township, and which will perhaps reduce the crime in the area, as it has heightened over time as a result of youth unemployment. I also spoke to fellow patrons who complained about Patrao's insecure trading space as an inconvenience to them, because they sometimes go to cut their hair and do not find him there because of his equipment being confiscated. One added that Patrao is such a welcoming individual who provides quality services at a very affordable price. So I also got a beautiful head cut from Batrao for just 20 rand. I mean, I cannot be advocating and speak about the beauty of informality when I do not enter their little world for a few minutes and be a part of it. And which better way to do that than to try and understand the intricate mechanisms and dynamics of the space by supporting their hustle. Having my hair done by Batrao made me realize how much more than just a shop Batrao stall is. It acts as a local landmark for local taxis, as commuters will say, Kwa Patrao, as an indication to get off. It's a social spot because you'll find gents reflecting the football weekend that was, and Patrao has succeeded in making it feel like such a gender non-conformative space, because both women and men can get their haircuts without being othered or discriminated, because cutting your hair is usually a socially prescribed activity that is for men. right? And he does this through the use of boards with images that show models that are female, male, and even queer. The one thing I did like other patrons, is privacy, because we are under the small gazebo where anyone who is passing by can see you getting your hair done. And there's something so spiritual about shedding your hair as an African person. Well, that is for me. So it would be amazing doing it in an enclosed space. But Rao mentioned expanding his business and providing other services like hair washes and treatments, which he currently cannot do without a fixed structure. He also erecting that fixed structure is a problematic at the moment because he does not have the proper documentation, recognition, and control, which is unfortunate because in this situation we realize how land use management tools act as a stumbling block to this young man's aspirations and goals, as well as to the growth of his business. Land use management should be able to consider the lived experience of communities rather than imposing foreign, or rather in this case inappropriate, standards to allow and support local activities, social and economic, as well as transform the land use management and regularization of settlement spaces over time and in an incremental manner. Unfortunately, we did not speak to the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department officer because he said he would not add much value to our conversation as he is not part of the bylaws department. I was really hoping to speak to an enforcer of these bylaws who Patrao described as inhumane, and get to understand what their role is in the recognition and formalization process, and how they can also act as bodies to bridge this gap between informal and formal, since they are enforcing what we as technocrats write behind closed doors and behind our fancy desks. So I hope this conversation will be continued with a legal enforcer. I'm not sure if I'll even get one, but let us see.